welcome to day one of the Daily Fluency podcast with Mia and Leo. I'm Mia, your English speaking coach, and I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us on this 30-day journey to speaking English with absolute confidence.
And I'm Leo, your co host and fellow language learner. I'm here to share my own struggles and triumphs because, let's be honest, we've all been there. And Mia, I'm already feeling like I need this first topic more than anyone. Today, we're tackling the dreaded freeze.
Oh, Leo, the freeze. That moment your brain just shuts down. We've all experienced it. But I hear you had a particularly memorable freeze recently. Care to share?
Mia, it was brutal. So, I was in the elevator, right, heading up to my apartment, and this guy, clearly a tourist, gets in with me. He was wearing a backpack and looked a bit lost, you know? So he turns to me, and in perfect English, mind you, he asks, "Excuse me, do you know if there's a good coffee shop near here?"
A simple, straightforward question.
Exactly. And I know like five amazing coffee shops right outside my building, but the moment he finished speaking, my brain just poof, gone. I opened my mouth, and I swear I heard crickets. Literally, nothing came out. I just stared at him for what felt like an eternity, but was probably a good 10 seconds.
Oh, Leo, 10 seconds in an elevator is a lifetime. Did you eventually say something?
Eventually, I just kind of shrugged and stammered, maybe down there, pointing vaguely. He just nodded, looking super uncomfortable. And then the elevator doors opened and he quickly got out. I wanted to disappear. It was the most awkward 10 seconds of my life.
Leo, honestly, thank you for sharing that. Because that exact scenario plays out in kitchens, classrooms, meeting rooms, all over the world every single day for English learners. It's a universal struggle. And it's not because you don't know the answer, right? You knew those coffee shops.
I knew them. That's the maddening part. It just felt like my brain went offline. No signal, no connection.
Exactly. What you experienced is a classic cognitive overload combined with social anxiety. When you're put on the spot, especially in a language that's not your first, your brain tries to do too many things at once. Understand the question, translate it, formulate an answer, translate that answer, and then speak it. It's like trying to run 20 apps on an old smartphone at the same time.
That's such a perfect analogy. The spinning wheel of death.
Haha, precisely. And then the panic sets in. You realize you're not speaking, the other person is waiting, and suddenly you're not just worried about answering the question, you're worried about how you look while not answering. This is the freeze. But today, Leo and listeners, we're going to transform that panic into poise. We're turning the accidental, awkward freeze into the way, intentional, powerful pause.
Okay, intentional, powerful pause. I love the sound of that. How do we do it? What's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce, my friend, is a set of incredibly useful, natural lexical chunks. These are phrases that native speakers use all the time to buy themselves a moment to think without sounding awkward or rude. They signal to the listener, I'm processing this, I'm engaged, rather than, my brain has left the building. Let's start with chunk number one. Let me think for a second. This is your go-to phrase for everyday conversations when you just need a moment to recall information or form a simple thought. It's polite, it's natural, and it buys you about 2 to 3 seconds.
Okay, let me think for a second. So, if someone asked me where a good coffee shop was, instead of shrugging, I could say, let me think for a second. And then actually think.
Exactly. And the tone is important. It's not a question, it's a statement, it's confident. Try it with me. Let me think for a second.
Okay, let me think for a second.
Perfect. Now, for chunk number two. That's a good question. This one is brilliant because it not only buys you 3 to 5 seconds, but it also compliments the other person. You're acknowledging their question is valuable, giving your brain a little ego boost and time to breathe.
Oh, I like that. So, that's a good question. Could I combine it? Like, that's a good question. Let me think for a second.
You're thinking strategically. That's a power combo. Now for chunk number three. Let me organize my thoughts. This is for when the question is a bit more complex, maybe in a work meeting or a more formal setting. It conveys a sense of executive poise and tells people you're about to deliver a thoughtful, structured answer. This buys you 7 seconds easily.
Let me organize my thoughts. Wow, that sounds professional. So if my boss asks about a complex project update, I could say, "That's a good question, Maria. Let me organize my thoughts for a moment."
Precisely. See how much control that gives you? It signals thoughtfulness, not panic. Okay, rapid fire, Leo. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to use one of our chunks.
Bring it on.
What's the one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting to learn English today?
That's a good question. Let me organize my thoughts. I would say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just speak.
Fantastic. See how natural that sounded? Now, let's talk about what these chunks replace. We want to eliminate those awkward hesitations like, or even worse, sorry, my English bad.
Ugh, I am so guilty of the. It just slips out when my brain is buffering.
And that's okay, Leo. It's a habit. But these vocalized pauses, while natural, can unintentionally signal uncertainty or a lack of fluency. And saying, sorry, my English bad, instantly puts you on the defensive. It draws attention to a perceived weakness rather than highlighting your strength in communicating in a second language.
You're right. It definitely makes me feel smaller, even if I'm just trying to be polite. So the goal is to replace with "let me think for a second" and "sorry" with "that's a good question."
Exactly. You're actively choosing a confident, functional alternative. It changes your internal monologue too. Instead of, oh no, I'm stuck, it becomes, okay, I've got this. I'm just gathering my thoughts. This is the mental shift we're aiming for. It's about control. All right, listeners, it's time for our 3-level guided shadowing workout. This is where we lock in these new phrases. Today's phrase is, that's a good question. Let me organize my thoughts. Level 1, listen and stress. Just listen to me and pay attention to the rhythm and emphasis. That's a good question. Let me organize my thoughts. That's a good question. Let me organize my thoughts. Level 2, subtitle sync. Mia and Leo, let's say it together with the listeners. Really feel the words. Together now. That's a good question. Let me organize my thoughts.
One more time. That's a good question. Let me organize my thoughts.
All right. Level 3, blind echo. Now it's just you and your confidence. I'll give you a question and you respond with our phrase. Ready? What's your favorite part about learning English? Your turn, respond now. Excellent. You just bought yourself valuable thinking time confidently. Now that you've mastered the art of the intentional pause, it's time for your day 1 daily speaking challenge. Your homework? Today, I want you to actively listen for moments where you typically freeze or use then, intentionally, replace those with let me think for a second. That's a good question. Or let me organize my thoughts. For our podcast community, record yourself answering the question, what's one goal you have for your English fluency in the next 30 days? Using let me organize my thoughts and share it in the comments below.
I'm doing that challenge right after this. No more elevator freezes for me. Thank you, Mia, for turning my most awkward moment into a powerful lesson. This was incredibly insightful.
My pleasure, Leo. And for all of you joining us, come back tomorrow for day 2, where we'll dive into another crucial aspect of fluency, the power of paraphrasing. How to keep the conversation flowing even when you don't know the exact word. It's going to unlock so much for you.
You won't want to miss that. Until tomorrow, keep practicing those powerful pauses and keep speaking. See you then.